First of all, I always ask people this really quick, but you feel free to put in the chat. Did you ever at one point in your life think that yoga could save the world? Because when I started when I was 19, I kind of did. Uh, and then I lost it along the way in the last 20 something years. So I ask you, do you still believe that yoga could save the world? And I'm curious how many of you think that way today. And I will say that after I feel like I went through this cycle of loving yoga and thinking it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then kind of resenting the fact that there's this huge business around it, and we're in America and capitalism and all these challenges. And now where I'm at right now is I'm back at I still think this is worth saving. And I really want to live in a world where more people, not less, practice yoga in deep and meaningful ways. And yeah, I think some of you know that cycle. And I think that how we get more people, this is a question I started asking myself. So just, oh yeah, we'll skip the what do you think of Yoga Alliance. We'll go there later. But just a quick about me. I spent my early 20s, I was in a high demand spiritual group, I call it, as a Taoist yoga teacher. I lived with my teacher for 5 years. Then I studied with Dharma Mitra and Kripalu yoga, and I just head over heels for yoga. I had 6 yoga studios in New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. I was good at business. I had no formal business education, but I was good at it, self-taught. And I ended up the director of the Kripalu Schools of Yoga and Ayurveda. I then wrote a book on how to run a yoga studio. We've sold over 10,000 copies and consulted hundreds of yoga studio owners. I then started getting interested in software. So I'm like from monk person to business person. And I worked for a partner of Mind Bodies for years. That's probably, Peter, where I first met you in St. Louis Obispo, or maybe it was somewhere else, I don't remember. But then I volunteered to be on the board at Yoga Alliance. I cared about the yoga industry. And my last stint with them was working as the Chief Yoga Advancement Officer. I helped with their I ran the whole standards review process from 2017 to 2019. And I co-wrote 8 white papers on the subjects of the attitudes and beliefs of yoga professionals and the nerdiest stuff about yoga that you can imagine. And I interviewed hundreds and hundreds of yoga teachers. And the ideas that I put forth to the board and to the leadership at the time were basically like, the response I got was, great work, Andrew. We got a lot of good PR out of this, but we're just going to bump the standards up from ERYT 200 to ERY 500, and we'll add some scope of practice, I think like putting lipstick on a pig. And I think some of the work they did in DEI was very admirable and good. And I think some of the work they do in advocacy is very good. But on a fundamental level, I disagreed with some of the same problems that you all have brought up about not allowing schools to have their freedom, especially senior teachers, to teach in ways that really make sense to them. I wanted to move away from hours, move towards competencies. And so I left Yoga Alliance, and then the pandemic happened. And so instead of starting this company then, I got involved with building a software that allowed yoga teachers to teach online and in person at the same time. And then I got sick of that, and I really missed going back to be with people. So I also own the Berkshire Yoga Festival, which is one of the largest yoga festivals in the country. We have about 2,000 people that come out to the mountains here every summer in the Berkshires. And that was going really well. And an investor friend said, hey, what would you really do if we were going to give you some real money? And I said, oh, I want to try to fix yoga. And I know that sounds very ambitious, but so anyway, long story short, we got some investment, and all the investors, this is a public benefit corporation, not a nonprofit, but all the investors had to agree that 50% of all the money that comes in would go back to the users, because I believe that software companies need to not be greedy. And as a software company with yogic values, one of those values is asteya and aparigraha, and it's non-hoarding and non-stealing. So we'll get into that, but that's a little bit about me. And so what American Yoga Council is, it's more than just an accreditation association. It's more than just another yoga alliance. It's really like LinkedIn and Ancestry.com had a yoga baby, because it can help people find the right yoga teacher for them. And the ultimate mission is that this becomes the marketing arm for yoga, so that you all can focus on teaching and the right students can find you. And so our goal is to help yoga professionals grow and thrive, and with clarity and also credibility. So when you join, you get a beautiful landing page. This could replace your website. As you know, one of my past companies was building websites for yoga studios. We built over 4,000 yoga studio websites. And what I believe is that websites kind of suck now, and that they're really not helpful. They're burdensome to deal with. And no offense to you, but this goes for me personally too. My website will never get as many views as a social media platform or a platform that has an aggregation effect. So by having your website or a page on American Yoga Council, you already, we get 12,000 views a week, and we're not even promoting it yet to the public. So the idea for the future is to simplify it and make it that you could run your business through this platform. So that's why I think a lot of amazing people have joined us. We just finished our beta, so if you're just hearing about us now, it's not your fault. We're kind of keeping it under wraps. But we've had, I'm sure some of these faces will be familiar to you, and we would love for you all to join us as well. The founding council members, so these are people that are serving a 2-year term, and they advise on how we build the platform and the features and the policies that we do. But they're the first layer of advisement, and then the second layer is all of you all, the users. So we've had, or I should say the council members. So we had one council meeting in New York in September. We had over like 600 people join. And then we're going to do them eventually quarterly. For now, it'll probably be twice a year. And there'll be chances for people to give feedback. But as a software company, we're constantly taking feedback from you, the people that we serve. So we've had, people like the director of the Himalayan Institute. So big institutions are joining. Independent teachers like Jill Miller her programs were never able to be accredited by Yoga Alliance. She's an amazing teacher, but Yoga Tune-Up, she didn't want to fit her stuff into their model. And same thing with Yoga for 12-Step Recovery, Nikki Myers. And so, our mission is 3 parts. We want to help you all make a better living. Then number 2 is we want to improve the quality of yoga teaching. And I don't think we do that by pretending that every school has the same standard. And then the third thing is we help people find the yoga that's right for them. And so this is kind of how we make our decisions as an organization. So just imagine a tech company with yogic values. Our core values are transparency, generosity, right livelihood, and embodiment. So the transparency is transparency is how we create accountability. So right now with Yoga Alliance, when you fill out all their paperwork, you do all this rigmarole to get that, and then you teach whatever the heck you want. And so there are some programs that are stellar and going above and beyond. There are a lot of programs that are just doing their own thing. And then there are a lot of programs that maybe should be called out for producing crappy teachers. And the system has no way of showing the public what those schools are doing. And I'll show you how our simple system is simpler, but more transparent. From a generosity side, 40% of the revenue that comes in goes back to schools and senior teachers, and 10% goes to a give back fund that council members can vote on. And then we run the business on 50%. And then right livelihood and embodiment is, we will be releasing our policy on AI and other statements. I do believe that yoga has a very important role to play in the next 10 to 30 years, especially as AI and robotics become more and more advanced. I think more people are going to actually find yoga. I think we could go from 9% of the population doing yoga to 19% of the population doing yoga. think we could literally double the number of people coming to yoga. So briefly, okay, now let's get into some of the questions that you all were asking about how does it work. So our standards start on the path of someone's actual career. So if you were to become a doctor, there's pre-med and then med school, and then you do a residency, and then you do an internship, and then you're a doctor. And with yoga, the 200 and the 500 never really fit an actual career path. The real career path is first you're a practitioner. So why can't there be a practitioner standard? Then a level 1 teacher is someone that teaches groups of people, because teaching a group is easier in some respects. It requires less knowledge and detail than when you're teaching individuals. And so a level 2 program is when you're starting to teach people to work with individuals, to work on their individual practices. And then a level 3 program is going to have some form of specialization. If you think about it, this is the career arc that many people take. Now, level 4 is not a program that you can create, but it is a badge that could be given to very senior teachers, 20 to 25 plus years experience. Plus, we're working on what that standard will be. It'll be some kind of a peer review process, because we should be reviewed. There's no one should stand at the top of yoga. And who are we as an organization to say we're at the top? And Andrew and the people that work here get to decide who's at the top. So we're working on a peer review process. But as you talked about, Peter, about you're now teaching in such a different way. I think that's what naturally happens when people become, master teachers, that there's a level that you get to where you can kind of teach anyone. And that's, I think, a real career path for yoga. So you can create programs of each of these levels except level 4. That has to be given by the community. And then we are working on another honorary credential. We originally had it here and it had an M for master, but being that we're founded in America, we decided not to use the term master. And we're working on coming up with something different. We also you can offer specialty credentials. And this is really different. So CE for us is different than Yoga Alliance. Yoga Alliance, it's like any 2 hours with any teacher who's an ERYT is considered CE. So I am a ERYT 500. I've been teaching yoga for over 20 years, but my trainings are in Taoist yoga and then with Dharma Mitra. So even though I've been teaching for 23 years, I am not qualified in the AYC system to offer an anatomy and physiology CE badge, because I don't actually have those teaching skills. So when you go through the system, we take your teaching history and we can, based on your background, give you the ability to offer badges in different areas depending on your actual expertise. And so, whether that's pranayama or meditation or trauma-informed training or prenatal or postnatal and those things. And the actual standards for those are not public yet, but they will be made public. We have a rough draft of them. They will be made public hopefully at the end of January. But you can apply for them now, and it's as easy as just submitting your CV. And I'll show you that. So here's how the process works. Let's say you join, you create a program. Let's say, Kim, you talked about your 200-hour program, right? So you already have a teacher training. You don't have to change anything. You can if you want, but you don't have to. All you have to do is submit your learning objectives from that training. We don't need to micromanage the hours. We don't care how many hours you teach of pranayama or this or that. We don't want to know. All that matters is what are the learning objectives and how well did you achieve those objectives. So you create a program. It honestly, some schools have gotten it done in a couple hours. Some it's a few back and forths, and we have support to help you with that. If your new and past grads join, like I think, oh gosh, who was it? Was it Nicole who mentioned that? She's already had some of her past grads join. You get a membership revenue share from their membership dues. And if they're a new graduate, they pay a fee for that badge on their profile, and you would get 40% of that. And so why is our accreditation both simpler but more trustworthy and more transparent than Yoga Alliance. It's that, so like Peter, you mentioned how you've been teaching in this new way. Now you're teaching people to become their own teachers. Like, by the way, your program might be a level 2 or 3. And there have been many cases where people submit their foundation teacher trainings, and we say to them, well, you're not teaching a foundational program. You're teaching, actually, what you're teaching is level 2 in our system. So what you tell us is, by the end of that program, what are your graduates able to do? What's the new skills, teaching skills, knowledge, etc., that they have by doing this program? And then when they verify that credential with us, we ask them, how well did that program prepare you for that specific competency? So we get direct feedback, not just rate the school 1 through 5 and give them four stars or whatever. We actually rate every single competency. And then those competencies are indexed so that the general public, when they're on our website, they can actually see, they can search for teachers via competency. What we're eventually building are tools for consumers that'll be like, how woo-woo do you want your class to be? You know, how much anatomy is, do you have an injury that you're concerned about? Do you have, and the students just put in what their needs are, and it'll match them with the right teachers because of the actual competencies that those teachers have. And over time, we'll get feedback on them. And so we can give that feedback back to you and say, hey, 12 out of your 14 competencies you're doing a great job on. But these 2, maybe you need to tweak your curriculum a little bit. I don't know how you're delivering these, but your students it's not landing for them. So maybe they need an additional mentorship piece to it related to those 2 competencies. And this is how the system will actually give you feedback and make your teacher trainings better. As opposed to Yoga Alliance, where you talk to them once in the beginning and you hopefully never talk to them again. You just give them their check every year. With us, we want to be an ongoing way to support you to actually improve your training. And then why will your graduates join? Well, they get monthly business coaching. They get access to the best and most affordable insurance that covers over 500 different modalities. So yoga, bodywork, Pilates, fitness stuff. And it's $139 a year. So it's $139 a year for the insurance. We also, though, have a special rate, $60 for the first year of liability insurance if they're a new teacher. And if they join, they can join us while they're in their teacher training. And then you get a revenue share, they get a cheap insurance, everybody wins. And then it's up to us to continue to earn their business. But we can also, they get a free website out of it, or I shouldn't say that, they get a page on our platform where they can promote their workshops and their teachings. And for most new teachers, and even eventually most senior teachers, this can become like a business in a box. So we do have a free option. Anyone can join. We don't want to exclude anyone. The free option lets you put your picture and your bio. But then at the premium level, that's for like a yoga teacher. That's $108 a year, and that allows them to get verified, get their AYC level, and then have additional credentials and promote their workshops. And then finally, the pro level, that's if you're going to have your own school, which I think many of you are. Okay, so I've talked about a lot of this. I want to cut through some of this stuff and get to questions. I think, so the business coaching, there has been a lot of positive feedback about that. I would say my job for the last 15 years was like business coaching to the yoga stars, and now we're just systematizing it and giving it for free to everyone. And so from a price perspective, with Yoga Alliance, you're paying per program per year. So if you have a 200 and a 300, you're probably paying $600 a year. And then they charge you $400 to reaccredit. I don't know how often they charge that now. With us, it's $216. Oh, this is old. Sorry. It's now, the beta is over. I should change that. So it's $216 to join, That includes you as a personal membership and your school. And that price doesn't go up every year. It doesn't matter if you accredit 10 programs with us. When you do accredit a program, it's a one-time fee. So where Yoga Alliance charges $400 one time, we charge $108. I will offer, if you get your information to us within 30 days, this first one will be waived. If you're the kind of person that just prefers to have someone else do it for you, and you've already created a program, and you want some hand-holding from us, and you want VIP white glove service, for the same price as Yoga Alliance, for $400, we will give you one-on-one attention, and most people can get their program accredited within less than a week. We also have a super rush for $500 where you get it done in 3 hours, but you have to have an existing program to do that. So if anyone wants at the end of this call a link for $150 off that, we have 10 spots available in the month of January left. So we will give you $150 off of that one-time thing. Okay, but the big news is with us, the revenue, you have a revenue share. So the TLDR is, with Yoga Alliance, you are paying money. Over 10 years, Peter, I would guess that you've given 30 years or how long, you've probably given Yoga Alliance like close to $20,000. And with us, an existing school with 2 teacher training programs, like a 200 and a 300, and 120 past grads with 30% of them joining us, and then they're doing 50 teachers a year and half of them join, you'll be making $35,000 from us. So that just shows the price difference. So we hope you never pay us again after your initial connection. And then for the teachers, why should they join us versus Yoga Alliance? Right? Why would your graduates want to join us? Well, we are a little more expensive. We are $108, but we give you way more value. So, between the monthly business coaching, between the actual website that people actually will visit and use, we also do monthly Q&A with a yoga lawyer, and the option of getting revenue share. We think that it's well worth it. But more importantly, the monthly business coaching is designed to help them start to build a career for themselves. So our hope is that if you're serious about teaching yoga, by year 3, you're starting to develop practitioner trainings, as opposed like we need newer yoga teachers. 3 years in teaching yoga, you shouldn't be creating a teacher training. In fact, in our system, you're not even allowed to. But you should be starting to teach people to be yoga practitioners, to build the pie for everyone. And so I think that there's a pretty strong case for that. And so the costs are pretty similar as far as if they were to up level with Yoga Alliance, it's $50 to upgrade from 200 to ERYT or whatever they are. With us, when you up level and add a credential, you pay $54 or $10 if it's a specialty. Okay, so sorry, those are old. This is my old. I just realized I'm totally using my old deck. Okay, well, this is the special. I'll just say I will offer you this. We have 10 left for this month. And if you want us to do it for you, really hold your hand through the accreditation process, then it's $150 off. And Danielle has a code that she can put in the chat for you and the links for that. And if you're like, I need this yesterday, and you want to just get it done in one intense meeting that could go as long as 3 hours, but hopefully usually gets done in about 2, you can do the Fast Track Pro. We only have 3 of those available for the month of January. Okay, so I know I talk like the Micro Machine guy. I hope that I'm sure there are questions. So let me start to go into the Q&A, and I'll just put up our website so we can see. All right, actually, I don't see any questions. Was I talking too fast? So I guess let me pause. Where do we people stand? Anyone joined yet? Go ahead and unmute if you have a question, or feel free to put it in the chat.
Okay, I was typing it in the chat, but I'll unmute. You mentioned at the end a practitioner training to be offered by a 3 or so year in yoga teacher that's not offering a 200-hour type training. Can you describe what that practitioner training is?
Yeah, so what we found is that most 200-hour trainings were really two parts. They were teaching people to be yoga practitioners and then some sort of teaching them how to teach. But then there was a gap between the students who actually had a practice and were ready to start teaching and the people that really just wanted to deepen their practice. So a lot of people, your existing 200-hour, you could potentially have two different badges that you give out. It could be the same exact program that you run, but depending on the person's level and ability, they get a different badge. We do not allow certificates of completion. It's not like, oh, I did 200 hours, give me my 200-hour registered yoga teacher. You're either a yoga teacher that meets the competencies that the school says they met, or not. And you don't want to dilute the value of your school by giving someone a badge that doesn't deserve it. And so our thinking was, though, that I also think there's a huge opportunity because yoga, the number of people that go through teacher trainings a year, it's like 250,000 in America. The number of people that go through, and then about another 200,000 that go through like CE for teachers. There's under 1 million active yoga teachers in America and Canada combined. But there's 30 million people that practice yoga in America alone. So those 30 million are actually people that would really do better if there were some programs that help them deepen their practice. And when we put a third-party stamp on things, people do them because our brand looks really awesome. We designed it to be like the American Heart, like to have that kind of, to the third-party observer, it's like, oh, I want to do this. Like you could create a certified yoga practitioner program there's one person who's creating one for postpartum women of color in Atlanta. And we will accredit that. And then she can take that to the hospital and say, hi, I want to offer this program at your hospital. And so this is a big opportunity, I think. And if you join, when you join, we do all these support calls and things where we help you. And especially if you come to the business coaching calls, we help you, think about how to do these things well. But then I would just offer in the beginning, your 200-hour probably translates to a level 1 and maybe a practitioner. And your 300 hours probably is similar to a level 2. And if you wrote core competencies or learning objectives already for Yoga Alliance, the process is very simple to build it in our system. It won't take you very long. So yeah, those are kind of how those standards work. Someone could take your level 2 program or even a level 3 program, but then their actual level will only be level 3 if they've been teaching for at least 10 years. So something I like to explain to people that I think really helps is, here, I'll go to my profile just because it's easier. So I have never taken a level 3 program. I've taken a 200-hour with Kripalu and a 200 and a 500 with Dharma Mitra. But then if you look over here, I'm a level 3 in the system because this is based on my experience. So if you join, it takes literally 5 minutes. The first thing it's going to ask you to do once you fill in your basic information, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this, history. And you just tell, what year did you start teaching? Give us a website we can look at to see that you're a real person. How many classes have you taught? How many privates? Not the exact number, just, for many of you, it's too many to count. What type of trainings have you done before? And then is there anything else like, oh, I have a background as a massage therapist or whatever it is. And when you submit that, it takes less than 5 minutes. We can, within 24 hours, give you your AYC level, and that allows you to create programs in the system. But then if you want to have badges, like I want to show that now I want to show that I did my training with Kripalu or Dharma Mitra, because if someone searches for Dharma Yoga, I want to be found in the algorithm. So then it helps me to upload my certificate from Kripalu. Or if I'm missing a certificate, you can just click, I'm missing my certificate. You can type in the school name, Kripalu. We have every school that you can imagine in here already. And then you can enter in the program information, and then we will do the forensics of verifying it.
What if the the institutions that you studied at are before any of this? Like all of my trainings is in the 80s and the 90s.
Yes, yes. So like even like Gary Krafsow. So I don't we have special ways of helping our elder yogis. So I don't know if you have actual certificates or even just some kind of proof, but we're happy to like where's Gary? I gotta fix the algorithm because I typed in Gary. Oh, there he is, and it showed his mentees before it showed him. But so Gary has an actual diploma from Vini Yoga from the 80s, but that school does not exist. So the sad news is we can't give any revenue back to Vini Yoga or whatever, or to your schools. Although if your mentors are alive, you can list them, and they can receive, if they're alive, they can receive benefit from this. But I would love, Peter, I would be personally very excited to see your yoga history. So we'll figure it out is my
Okay.
answer.
Yeah.
Andrea asked, are we planning to add client online booking? I don't want to become MindBody or like those kind of companies. I think that if there's a really like best in class simple booking system, or even like just honestly, now you can use Google. Like you could literally use Google Calendar. We'll probably just integrate with Google Calendar and iCal, and then you can use Google Cal and Venmo. Like, we'll probably build the direction that everything is going with AI is that software is all going to be turned, like monopolies are going to be existing. That's why vertical social networks, which is what this is actually really interesting. Because every other software is becoming every other software. Like, have you noticed, like Zoom can now do everything, and Google can do everything. And so we will, instead of building those kind of tools, like we will build integrations with the tools you're already using that are the cheapest. But we are building, so right now, the way the system works is, Mary, I'll catch you in a second, but basically you set up a Stripe account, it connects right to your bank account. And here are students that have listed me as a mentor, right? And here are people that have verified graduates of my program. So I get money just directly in my bank account every quarter. We do the split. So if some of you have teacher trainings that have been in business for a long time and you have hundreds of past grads then this should be really nice for you. And I know that's not the goal of it, but it's a benefit, it's a bonus. And our ultimate goal is to build an app that like the entire yoga community is using. So we don't need to pinch money off of you all. We want to make you money. So Mary asked, can you speak to the focus of the bio and influences? So it's really an algorithm. So like I just came to the app. It knows your IP address, right? So I'm in the Berkshires, so it's showing me all the teachers in the Berkshires. But then when you do searching, like it's going to preface more senior teachers in the beginning. Although we have like right now you can search by distance, years experience, and you can filter like by relationships and lineage. We're going to be adding filters for actual competencies and skills, but that's more of a consumer feature. So we're going to build that a little later on the roadmap in 2026. So right now, your bio and influences just affects how people find you in the algorithm. Like if I do a search for knees over toes guy, let's see if this works. Okay. So, no, that didn't really work how I wanted it to. All right, well, my algorithm's not perfect yet. Let me try it from up here. So I was trying something really complex, but that was one of my, on my profile, you can list your current influences. So like the Olympic weightlifting coach, Charles Poliquin, is someone I'm really interested in right now. I've been reading about him. So if someone was in the future, I don't think, to be honest, I'll be probably like halfway through the year, this will be much more valuable. We're also building a yoga wiki and some other really cool features. And these are like, I can't list Charles Poliquin as a mentor because I've never met him before. And he's also dead. And so he's not going to say that I was his mentee, but I could list him as an influence, if that makes sense. And yeah, the order of operations in the algorithm is the actual badges that you verified are the most important thing. And you do have to pay for that. It's a one-time fee, right? So if in order for me to verify my Kripalu badge, I paid a one-time fee and Kripalu gets a 40% cut of that one time. And then I don't have to pay that again every year.
So I guess my question was more related to educational background. I just saw in the person that you just showed, like if you have licenses in other areas. I said previously on a call that I was a psychotherapist, retired. Do you put those kinds of things, or is it just basically yoga?
So you can put any sort of specialty programs you've done that are related to yoga. We even had someone list her degree from Harvard as a specialty badge in the other category, and we just charged her the minimum fee for it. And we saw the diploma, and we did some forensics on it, and you can do that if you want. But this is the more important part. Under the specialty section,
Yeah.
we don't charge for this. So if you join tonight, here's what you get. You pay the normal price, but you will get three legacy credentials that you can add. So that's like $164 savings. And if you submit your program information to be accredited within 30 days, that will be waived as well. Normally to accredit is a one-time fee of $108. And my last thing is the discount code that I can give you guys tonight, and I'll just give it to you at the end of the call. I'll email it to everyone who joined, and I'll give you a week to use it. That's $150 off if you want VIP support to get your programs accredited. That's not required at all. It's just we have the availability for it. So you do have to pay for the membership.
Okay, so you want me to continue and purchase at 216, is that correct?
Yes.
And then what happens?
And then you could share your screen and show people your yoga history and how to do your specialties. And you're getting onboarded by the CEO. That's your benefit.
That is such a bonus. Okay, let me share again.
All right. Okay. All right. So what it'll ask you is once you'll put in your school name. For the username, this should be similar to like what you use for your Instagram handle.
Yep, that's that.
Great. School email. This is public facing, so people can reach you. And this is an address that your school will show up on the site. You can just click you do have to Yeah. There you go. And then your website for your school. Okay. And then you can just throw anything in there. Oh, wow, you're amazing. You have all this at the top of your fingers. I'm impressed, Michelle.
I used to work for Microsoft.
You can change these later. So just
Yeah.
any banner image, just throw anything in there and just anything wide. And
Let me see if we can find something wide here. Oh, I can't see any of these things.
trust in that first one. It's going to be good.
I have no idea what that is.
You're not worried about anything crazy, right?
No, I'm definitely not. Oh, that's cute.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, great. So now for the blurb, just type TBD for now, and same thing with a special quote. And then keep going and hit next. All right, and skip next. You can do that later. Okay, normally, and click next. Go ahead. This next part is that we verify the ownership of every school, because you can make a lot of money from this platform, and we can't have people impersonating. We don't want someone impersonating Annie Carpenter or whatever. But you're not going to do this now. You're just going to hit Return to American Yoga Council on the left. Under, right below there, yeah.
Oh, here.
Yep. Okay, so this is where everyone's going to come to after they get through that part. Don't worry, you can verify later. So just pop in when you started teaching. And then website. For website, you can list old websites that no longer exist, because we can search the Google Wayback Machine and we can search the Internet Archive. So even if you don't have a website anymore, you can put something on there. But just put anything that your basic.
You mean my history, like where I learned or what I created at that time?
This is really for us to be able to see that you are a real person. So
Oh, yeah.
I know you're a real person, so you can honestly skip
Yeah.
this part.
Yeah.
So just scroll to the bottom, and this part is, you could put, have you just go ahead and in the
These don't apply for kids.
correct. So don't worry about it. Just scroll. I certify this is correct. And
okay.
the kids stuff you're going to give us later. One hint here for everyone else actually is you can copy paste your bio into this little section here. Is there anything else about your teaching experience we should know? Yeah.
Do you want me to do that now or later?
Sure. And actually, while you're doing that, I'll answer Jennifer's question. Okay. We own globalyogacouncil.com, and we could push a button and make it based on your IP address global. The site is already global. We have members outside the US. We already have almost 100 members outside the US, and anyone can join. The reason we started with American is that we didn't want to step on anyone's toes, especially India and the government of India, who cares a lot about this. Believe it or not, they've reached out to us. And so people are really liking this platform. You don't have to upload oh yeah, you can though. Yeah, you can upload your CV later. Let me show you how to do this. So hit submit. So the long answer though to your question, or the short answer, Jennifer, is we do plan in 2026 to launch basically the exact same site with a more purple brand that says Global Yoga Council. And based on your IP address, you'll see different branding. And schools who are international will pay a fee to offer one or both. If they want to offer both credentials, so we've pre-built the system like that. There's just issues with China and India.
That's where Jennifer and I both teach together, actually.
Well, believe it or not, it's actually looking good. I'll just say that.
Okay.
It's looking really good. And yeah, it's so I can't say any more than that except it's in the roadmap. Can you, Michelle, show one last screen?
Yeah.
Because this is the big thing I wanted to show everyone. This will help everyone onboard themselves better. So this uploading your certificates, that I think is self-explanatory. Let's skip that. So don't hit, yeah, go ahead, skip this section. You can always come back to it. This is the part that sometimes trips people up because we haven't published these credentials yet. But so Michelle would clearly be qualified to teach kids yoga, right? All we have to do is look at her website and read about her to see that. If you have been teaching yoga for at least 10 years and the style of yoga that you are trained in and have been teaching in has pranayama and meditation as part of it, then you can select pranayama. You're going to be approved for offering CE in pranayama, meditation, philosophy and theory. However, trauma-informed and yoga history have a lot more challenges to them. So right now, we are very conservative in giving people the ability to offer trauma-informed badges. Now, you could offer a kids yoga program that's trauma-informed, but that's a kids yoga badge. Unless you have a background in psychology and have like there are a lot of people that took a 20-hour or 30-hour trauma-informed training in yoga. That doesn't mean they're qualified to teach other people to be trauma-informed. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
so I will just say that you can, by the way, it doesn't hurt to apply for whatever you want and then add your CV or add any information. Like to teach anatomy and physiology, if you've been teaching anatomy and physiology in teacher trainings for years, even if you've never done a training, like Leslie Kamenoff wrote a book on it. The man's all self-taught. He doesn't have a degree in it, right? So we don't care. We care about your background. And we will look at that and have a human actually evaluate that. Things like yoga history, we separated it from yoga philosophy and theory because yoga philosophy and theory, it's like if you've been teaching for 10 years, we're open to whatever your philosophies and theories are. Yoga history is actually an academic study. So that's more for people that are academic writers on yoga history. So, Nicole, let me just say, Andrea asks, all CE programs require 10 years teaching experience? No, some of them are 5 years plus 5 years of teaching it. So like, let's say someone wants to start a kids yoga program. They have to have been teaching kids yoga for a minimum of 5 years. And they have to show proof of that. And they have to show expertise in kids yoga, either because they are a child educator or because they've taken a kids yoga teacher training program. So typically, some of them are like 5 years plus expertise. Some of them, like Ayurveda, are harder. They're like, we use Nama's standard. And we're going to publish all that hopefully by the end of January. We have a draft document that's going to the advisory group, and then we're going to publish it as a beta at the end of January and then get feedback from everyone on it. And we do not charge you any fee to apply for these. And so if you want to later reapply or whatever, go back and forth, there's no fee for that. And Nicole asked a question about trauma-informed. What's your question, Nicole?
I think you ended up answering it. Just a student of mine who did register on the platform, she has had to, her whole practice is surrounded healing from two traumatic deaths. She kind of has an exceptional situation. So she had two fiancés within 8 years, both suddenly die. So it's kind of, yoga has been her practice for moving through that. And that's what she creates her workshops on and things like that. So I'm curious how she'll probably talk with someone, I'm thinking, on your side and see.
We do look at lived experience, especially for yoga for special populations badges. That would maybe make more sense for her than the trauma informed, unless she also has some other degree behind her name around trauma. We're
That makes
very
sense.
protective of that term. And we also, you are allowed to use the term yoga therapy, however the heck you want on the site. I should add that yoga therapy programs are automatically level 3 in our system, but we will be building a feature where we explain the meaning of that term to the public.
Okay. Yeah.
The last thing I want to show you here is, so let's say Michelle feels like confident in these categories, right? That she's like, I want to offer CE badges in these categories. Then when she scrolls down, you should please list your website again. I know it's redundant, but this gets looked at by a different person than the other one. And then if you have other background that we can't find on your website, this is where it makes sense to upload your CV. Or like, let's say you teach somewhere else, like maybe on your LinkedIn page, there's more information about this, or then you could add additional websites that you want us to look at. Or honestly, you could add a website from way back in the day. Cool. So then once you're ready, you just click I certify this is true and you submit that. And we usually turn these around in 24 hours.
So, quick question before I hit that button. I mean, all of these that I clicked would be in the container or context of working with children and adolescents. So, shall I go ahead and uncheck all of them because they're only
Yeah,
it would
honestly,
be
I think
container.
personally, from just a business perspective, I think people are better off. Like, it looks silly on even though some of you are master teachers and could literally do all of these or half of them, it kind of looks silly on like, I just recommend clicking the ones you're going to teach in the beginning and then apply for the other ones later if you want to. Because it's so
all
much.
within the container of this for
Yeah,
me.
you're going to be, so just scroll to the bottom and click I certify, and honestly, you're going to be approved in lickety split. Okay, so I just want to answer, so that's onboarding. You just got through it. This is how easy it is to use the site. It's really self-explanatory. To actually build programs, it is a little harder, and that's why we offer a service if you want us to do it with you. I just want to show you one thing. Click the little thing in the bottom right corner, and then Peter, before you leave, let me just say one quick thing.
This guy here, the
Yep.
chat window.
Click that. I recommend everyone book accreditation support. It's the second thing on the tab. And so that's how you can get a group call. We do like usually 6 or 7 a week, and they'll walk you through how to like build the program. So onboarding everyone just went through onboarding. It's super easy. You can do it yourself. Making your profile look good is very easy. But then actually building a training, you'll want to sign up for one of those sessions. And then it is a bit of a process. We'll walk you through it. But if you want to do it quickly and you want help, then we'll send you an email for how to do it one-on-one. All right, Peter, I just want to answer your last question before we have to go. Yeah, fees and credentials. Right. So let me just try to answer your question a little simply because the fees aren't different. It's more that we actually, when you join, here, I'm going to take back over my screen. Is that okay?
Yep. Let me stop sharing. There we go.
Okay.
I just went ahead and booked the call is all.
Awesome. Look at that. You just got onboarded. Okay, so imagine in your case, Peter, and this could be for anyone, you're going to type in, like, I'm missing my certificate, right? Do you have a certificate from Xander or Shander or other people? Right.
Nothing.
So you could put like, and shadow yoga is probably not in here, I don't know. What happens is you type in the name of the school and it'll automatically add an account for them, right? And then we can turn that into like a claimable legacy account for them, which actually I would love to get in touch with him. I think he's totally legit and amazing. So you could put in the best information that you have, right? And then, because he actually does have a certification, right? Or would you list him as a mentor? What do you think?
Well, when I was studying with him, he had no formal structure. Now he has structure. And so he would be a mentor, obviously, same with BKS and same with Goenka.
So,
So,
so the way that it works for Goenka and BAKS, the people that are dead, for like, we have a free service for our senior teachers. Basically, you would submit on your profile page, you would go down here and you'd say, you know, you click this My Mentors Plus button, and I would type BKS Iyengar, for example, right?
right.
Now, I list him, right? But like we've had people list Deepak Chopra and Iyengar, whatever. And what we actually do is we actually ask them for proof. Like, do you act like if it's a famous person that's alive, they have to approve it. If it's a famous person that's dead, if you can show us any proof that you've studied with them, we will approve it on behalf of them. And so normally for people that put dead mentors in, we just do that as a free service. There's no fee, and you just have to message us through the system. So
Now, if I understand though, these credentials like Dharma Mitra still alive, they get a cut. Like the dead people don't get a cut. Where does that money go?
that goes to operations. I mean, we
Okay.
do use it. Like the thing is, it actually doesn't go to us because they're only getting a cut from people who pay. So it just means that other people get more money. So in other words, if someone lists you and SN Goenka and even Kripalu, like I'm still negotiating with them. They haven't even signed their agreement with us. So they haven't gotten anything from us. So right now, my membership is just going to Dharma. Do you know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
so we can only give money, but so the percentages go to the people that are willing to join us.
Right.
But we still want what's publicly transparent to be out there.
That explains it.
Yeah. So we don't give the money to like their estates. We don't allow once you're dead. So this is why, by the way, when you create a pro account, it asks you to create a school. That school is an asset that you can later sell. That school will have a revenue share. Your school with 30 years of experience, you could actually one day sell that as an asset. And the owner who like, I don't know if Kim's still in the call. Kim, you bought a school that has 30 years of experience, right? Your teacher training that were led by Rodney and like all the people that went through your teacher training, that's actually if the teacher training came from Nest, then you own the rights to that revenue share. Now, people could still list Rodney as a mentor and he can get something too. But I built this way because I wanted to help yoga studios be able to sell themselves later. Because I've sold 6 of them and I know and if you also, your teacher training has value as an actual entity. So you can't take your revenue that you get from being a mentor is separated from the revenue you get from your school. I know this is like too many details for everyone late at night, but you got like trust me that we've thought of a lot of things here and it's really built to help you. So please join. Thank you, Michelle, for joining tonight on the call. It means a lot to me. All you have to do is go to the site and click join, and it takes about 5 minutes. If you do sign up tonight, I will make sure that you get I will make sure that you get 3 free legacy credentials as part of it. I know, Nicole, you signed up early. You signed up before the beta ended, right, Nicole? Okay.
Yeah, it was the last day.
Okay, I don't feel bad then. So if did anyone sign up in between the beta and now? Because I'll make sure if you're on this call, you get 3 free credentials. But so please sign up. And if you're not sure what account to get, basically the pro account lets you create programs, and the premium is just if you're just going to be teaching classes and running, as a teacher. But I think most of you are at the pro level because you're offering programs. And then what I would suggest is after you sign up, if you get stuck anywhere, click this button. And because I'm not logged in, I see the little AI right now, but when you're logged in, there'll be an option to book the group support call, the one that Michelle did. That's your next step if you get stuck. If you do those two things, you can't go wrong.
Where's the support call? I mean, where's the information for the support call?
So step one is join. When you're done joining, you just click on the bottom right corner of the site. You see this little purple button?
Yep.
And when you're logged in, instead of being this little sales thing, it'll actually be it'll give you three options: book accreditation support, write us a message, and that's like the easiest way. We get back to people within typically 24 to 36 hours. During normal business hours, it's pretty fast.
Okay, great.
And yeah, that it seems like a lot because you're trying to take it all in an hour. But if you just sign up and book a call, you'll probably be able to get through things. You probably get your programs accredited in like a couple hours total. And then you can be off to the races. And yeah, any last questions before we break? Thank you so much for staying on, guys.
I do have one quick question. Do you do these calls often? I'm really interested, but at this point, I do a lot of work in China, or I was, and internationally, and I'd love to just get updates on the global yoga council.
I can tell you, I can just tell you,
Yoga Alliance.
I can just tell you right now, I do think that schools outside of here, schools outside of the US, if you think that people will be mad that it says American, then I wouldn't do it. But we found that there are a lot, like as you can see, that it's already global in scope. If I want to here I'll plop into, so there's nothing stopping, like we're not firewalled anywhere. So you can see we have members, we have schools in other countries. No one in India, we've already had schools join. And in fact, a group funded by the government has joined, and they're not against us. So that's really good. And I don't know what else to say except China. Oh yeah, wow, we have someone in China. Cool. Oh,
Taiwan, yeah.
So I don't know. This is a question I have for you. If you know, I don't know if people need a VPN in China to access us or not.
I can find out.
Yeah, and we are. Who's asking the cybersecurity question? One of our investors and advisors is the head of technology for Aspire North, which is the sole controller of Experian data. And so we have pretty solid, we're actually doing a pen test right now. I don't know if you know what that is. So we're in the middle of that.
I do.
This week. Please don't hack us this week.
Well, it's serious business, and everybody's information will be there. So that's a really important point for you guys to be very careful with.
Yeah. So yeah,
I believe some of the other platforms had been. I don't want to use the word because I might use it inappropriately. I'm not a cybersecurity analyst, but I do think two of the other big organizations had a breach, and you guys being proactive in that, and like the business background of you guys would be really helpful too. So that what's your structure behind? Is this a org?
We're a public benefit corporation. So if you look at our about page, you could check the LinkedIns of some of the main leaders if you want. We have some heavy hitters that are working for us. Eric Brown is who I mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is my third tech company, and it's like all the best people that I love are working for us. And
Good. That
yeah,
sounds
we're not
cool.
but I will say that, it's still early days. We're still startup, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
but
you got to start somewhere.
yeah,
I work with hospitals, what do you call nonprofit hospitals and military hospitals. So they have very strict rules, and um, so it'll be an interesting synergy to see how all of this stuff starts weaving together. Because as you know, there's a lot of people who can bring their experience, strength, hope, and abilities to the people in need if they can get through the bureaucratic tape of hospitals and firewalls.
that's one of my dreams. I think that like phase one of our organization is just building the Better Yoga Alliance, right? Um, and like finally fixing like the standards so that the standards are helping us, not being an annoyance to us. Phase two is getting mass adoption, which we're on our way. You know, Yoga Alliance only has about 4,000 schools, and we are already around 500. And we just left our beta. We're growing by about 100 schools a month. And then the third step is launch a consumer application so that we bring all the consumers in. But then the fourth step, and maybe this is happening sooner than later, my hope is by the end of next year, is we're building the credibility where we can go to a hospital and say, hey, here are the people in your area who have programs that can actually help your specific type of person. Here are the teachers and we can do that not just with the hospitals, but gyms and schools and places that other institutions. So we can be the middleman, for lack of a better word, between the yoga world and where all the money is. And that if we do that, I definitely think we can double the number of people practicing yoga. And then it'll be like the 90s again, bonanza. If you had a
Awesome.
yoga
Thank you
studio
so
in the
much.
early 2000s, it was the best. It was like printing money. So,
Thank you so much, Andrew.
all right. Thank you, everyone, too. And help us get there, please. Yep. And then we'll follow up with an email about if anyone wants to have the Do It For You service. Thank you, Andrea, for putting that in there. And all right, everyone, have a good night. And yep, I do this call once a week, though. So if you want to see the Andrew Tanner show, just come back next week. All
How
right.
about the business coaching call?
Okay, but don't leave yet. This is actually really important. As soon as you join, you should also just go in here and type in Yoga Council in the actual search. Oh shoot, sorry, don't type in Yoga Council, we'll see everyone. Hold on, type business. Hold on, let me break out of here. And you want to search it under events. Or you can just go find your yoga events. That'll show like upcoming events. Oh gosh. We usually, by tomorrow, here it is. Simple strategies for wildly profitable yoga studios, even in small towns. So this is next Thursday. It's only for members. Here, I'll put the link in the chat so it's not hard to find. And we usually add that link. It'll be added tomorrow into this little chat bot. So like the upcoming programs. Yeah, you'll find lots of goodies if you log in, and there's also a member benefits section I didn't show you. There's links there to these same events. So, And yeah, honestly, as you know, Kim, I've consulted hundreds of yoga studios. This owner that I'm going to be interviewing in this call, she taught me things. I was a coach for her, but she taught me things. And I'm like, said, we got to share what you know with everyone. And she clears 200K profit in a tiny town and teaches one yoga class a week and has two little babies. And the insights that she shared about programming, pricing, and team, I think are going to be super valuable to anyone. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Now my time is officially up. I like this too much. It's too fun. So thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for staying. Bye.